Hey everybody, Alex Smart here, and we're going to talk about how bicycling can improve your business. Okay, so let's talk about number one, profit. First of all, sales are correlated to bicycle infrastructure. Bicyclists per capita spend more dollars than basically everyone else. So when we look at a protected bike lane on 9th Avenue in New York City, they added this protected bike lane. Local businesses saw a 49% increase in sales just from adding one protected bike lane, versus there was an increase in the rest of the borough, but of course it was only 3%. New York City has a lot more to gain because they're so congested. You have to allow in bicycling, you have to allow in these other modes. In Salt Lake City, what they did was they removed 30% of auto parking, I know, God forbid, improved crosswalks, sidewalks, and added protected bike lanes for 9 blocks. Now, in these 9 blocks, the sales for these businesses increased by 8.8%, whereas they only increased by 7% in the rest of the city. In this particular case in Salt Lake City, after the changes, 59% of business owners thought that the changes were a good idea, and only 18% opposed the changes because, of course, they saw how their sales were going up. Studies on this link between retail sales and bicycle infrastructure have been done in Toronto, in Davis, California, in New Zealand, in Portland, Oregon, New York City. This is shown all over the world. Where you put in the bicycle infrastructure, retail sales go up. The livelihood of the business is actually reliant on allowing other types of transportation into the city. For example, in New York City Union Square, what they did was they added a protected bike lane, and that actually resulted in 49% fewer vacancies, commercial vacancies where stores go, compared to 5% more vacancies in the rest of Manhattan. So basically businesses are dying because the car culture ruins the business, because not enough people can get in to support the business. There's also a lot of unquantifiable costs. Well, actually they are quantifiable, but it's something that people don't think about. I guess that's a better way to say it. Things like the amount of parking that people have to use to park at a store. Now, I want you to picture whatever store you go to and how much real estate is spent on parking. If you think about any store, you pretty much always have more parking than you have actual space for the store. Millions of dollars are often required to build one parking structure. This is huge. This costs so much money for the businesses because then they have to the property has to recoup that in leases. So they charge the businesses much more for their lease just because they have to accommodate all these single occupant vehicles that have to go to this location. Now, at a very conservative estimate, bicycle infrastructure, the installation of bicycle infrastructure will increase property value by at least 5%. Also, the cost is so ridiculously disproportionate. 1 mile of car road was 1,283 times more expensive than 1 mile of a protected bikeway. If you ask anybody that bicycles, anybody, they're all going to have some kind of story about how someone tried to steal their bicycle, and almost all of them know someone or have had themselves a bicycle stolen. In fact, almost everybody that I've spoken to about bicycling has had a bicycle stolen from them. So this is completely out of control. There are gangs that specifically deal with this because they're outside of the felony range. If you're a store and you allow bicyclists and encourage them to bring their bicycle inside with them where it's safe, where they can have it with them, not by some security guard that's going to be gone in 5 minutes, but have it with them, you're going to make a friend for life, you're going to make a customer for life, and you're going to sell more to them than other people, because we've already shown that bicyclists spend more money in stores. I will not go to certain stores if they put me and my bicycle at risk. Another reason why bicycles are good for business is they save the customer time, because it takes them a lot of time to lock it up, to take all the equipment off of the bicycle, because little things get stolen all the time. They even have a new company now that has different kind of bolts that you put in your seat and everything, because people take parts off your bicycle. So a customer it's going to save all that security time. It takes 5 or 10 minutes even sometimes to lock up a bicycle properly. So you're going to, again, make a friend of that customer. They're going to be much more willing to spend money there I visit stores over and over again just because of how awesome they are when they let me bring my bicycle in. The other ways that bicyclists will help your business and your community is they take up less space. Again, I already talked about how carts take up a lot of space in, for example, grocery stores. I bring my bicycle right in with the panniers. I load up the groceries, go to the cashier, unload the bags, load them right back up. I don't take up an aisle with a cart. I'm thin. I go by people and never get in the way of anyone. And also, just keep in mind, if you're worried about the amount of space that a bicycle takes inside of a store, think about how much space is being saved outside of the store. And also, they're not that big. You know, a bicycle is, what, like 6 feet long and 1.5 feet wide. So there's always space for a bicycle. And I know sometimes people talk about fire code. There's no fire code that says you can't bring a bicycle in. Now, if you put it somewhere and you're blocking a doorway or something that's fire code, yes, then it's a violation of fire code. But if a bicyclist is moving about with their bicycle, then it has nothing to do with fire code. So I'm not sure. Again, I think people just say this because they're caught basically with no reason, and they have to think of a reason to justify the fact that they just yelled at a customer who's about to buy something. You know, there's always a solution. But work with the bicyclist to come up with that solution because they know more about theft than you do, I guarantee it. Another way that bicycles can help businesses is they are cleaner. So people think, oh, bicyclists are dirty and bicycles are dirty. Well, if you've seen the bicyclists, first of all, a lot of them have cleats, so they put cleat covers like I do. So you have a completely clean bottom that was actually in my pocket earlier that has no dirt on it. But also the tires, most of them are slick or semi-slick, and even the treaded ones are not any different than tennis shoes or anything like that. I always tell people my bicycle's cleaner than most people's shoes. So actually you're gonna have less dirt and less cleaning expense by letting me in your store than you are someone who drives a car, who walks through a parking lot and gets oil and dirt and all kinds of crap on their shoes and trails that in. Now this is a little bit more philosophical and community minded, so it's not so directly dollar amount related, but it improves the local community drastically. You know, in almost every way, whether it's reducing congestion of roads, whether it's, you know, allowing for more parking for people who do still take cars. It improves air quality. There was a 50% improvement in air quality on one street just because they blocked off the street for a bicycle event, just from one day of blocking off a street. So imagine what we can do the more we encourage bicyclists. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the culture against bicycling. Now I know that sounds cliche, oh, everybody's against us or people are prejudiced. Part of the reason is because people, when they think of a bicycle, their history is that they think of the one they had as a child that they kept outside that was rusted and dirty and not cared for. Whenever you ask someone to leave because they have a bicycle, you're discouraging bicycling, you're increasing theft not only for bicycles, but encouraging gangs and people who specialize in stealing bicycles to move into your neighborhood and make your neighborhood less safe. You're encouraging pollution, traffic congestion. When you say no to bringing a bicycle in your store, you're not only losing money, you're not only losing real estate and all these things that are tangible to you, but you're actually hurting everyone, including where you live, your community, your property values. Everything is being slightly ruined every time someone says you can't bring that bicycle in. What would I ask of a business? Try to allow the customer to be with their bicycle, or at least have it in their sight. Again, because there's lots of things on it that can be stolen as well, so you kind of want to have it close by. They should have lockers or some place to put your belongings. A lot of places, they'll let me put my bags with the staff somewhere, like behind the cashier's desk or whatever. You know, and these are things that should happen all the time. Like, it should be a no-brainer. Oh, here's a bicyclist. How can we help them? So thanks for watching. I hope I was enlightening you today. I hope business owners that are watching this are encouraged to take a new stand on bicycles. By the way, there are many great stores. I've been to restaurants where they let me bring the bicycle and put it where we're sitting. there's no problem with it, or at least put it somewhere where I can see it, or back again, like I said, in a staff area, in a protected area. The more people think about where can we put this bicycle versus why is this bicycle a problem, the more solutions start to come up, the more people will again befriend your business and bring in dollars to your business. So I can't say it enough, bicycles are good for business, and these are the reasons why.